давай, зачищай, зачищай, пошел.
Let us begin with what is actually happening on the ground. In recent weeks, the front line in eastern Ukraine has not been static, but it has not moved rapidly either. There has been no large-scale collapse of defenses, no widespread panic, no dramatic overnight shift. What we see instead are small movements, almost every day. The Krasnoarmeysk direction, the Dmitrov axis, the same names, the same sectors. This matters. In modern warfare, when the same sector keeps appearing in reports, it is not coincidence. It indicates focused pressure, and focused pressure is a sign of control. Russia is not attempting to attack everywhere. They are choosing areas that can be pressured continuously. Areas with reachable logistics. Areas where defenses can be gradually worn down. On the map, these advances look modest, sometimes only a few hundred meters, sometimes a small settlement. But one fact stands out. Positions taken by Russia are rarely taken back. This is not about distance. It is about direction. And so far, that direction has been consistent. Russia is not advancing through surprise. They are advancing through repetition. The same pattern, day after day. Pressure is applied to a specific sector, not to annihilate Ukrainian forces outright, but to make the position no longer sustainable to hold. This distinction matters. Russia's objective is not instant destruction. It is positional displacement. Ukrainian forces often withdraw in an orderly manner, not because they are collapsing, but because holding the position would lead to greater losses. Each time Ukraine pulls back, Russia does not pursue recklessly. They pause, secure the area, dig in, and integrate that territory into their fire control system. This changes the status of the area, from a contested zone into a controlled one. This explains why Russian advances appear slow, and also why they are stable. In trench warfare dominated by drones, speed can be dangerous. Stability is often more valuable. At this stage of the war, Russia is clearly choosing stability. Many observers look at Russian drone and artillery use and ask the same question. How does it keep going? The answer is simple. This is not about individual weapons. It is about a system. Russian drones are not treated as rare assets. They are treated like ammunition, used, expended, replaced. Most of them are not expensive technology. Quite the opposite. Cheap, simple, mass-produced. What matters is not how long the drone survives. What matters is the information it transmits before it is lost. Once a Ukrainian position is identified, artillery does not wait. The first strike suppresses, not to destroy, but to pin. The drone returns with corrections. Another strike follows, then another. This cycle continues until the position can no longer be held. This is why the pressure feels relentless. Not because Russia has infinite resources, but because the system itself does not pause. For Ukrainian troops on the front line, this creates extremely harsh conditions. No clearly safe moments, no truly secure rotations, no position that remains hidden for long. In a war of attrition, this is a structural advantage. And at present, Russia holds it. In recent days, reports have emerged of civilian evacuations from areas under Russian control. These evacuations are not conducted on active contact lines. They occur in areas that have become relatively calm militarily. From a military perspective, this is significant. Evacuations usually take place when the risk of counterfire has decreased, when logistics routes are stable, when the area is fully covered by one's own fire control. Territory without civilians offers several advantages: greater freedom of movement, simpler logistics, more straightforward defense. It also reduces the risk of intelligence leakage and rear area disruption. Compare this with the early phase of the war. At that time, Russia moved quickly, but territory was often not consolidated. Now, the approach is different: slow, systematic, administrative. This signals one thing: Russia is not merely capturing territory. They are preparing to hold it for the long term. In a prolonged conflict, that distinction matters. The final question always arises. If Ukraine has not been able to retake occupied territory, does this mean Ukraine is losing? The answer is more complex. Launching an attack today is extremely costly. Extensive minefields, constant drone surveillance, artillery ready to suppress any major offensive risk, sacrificing elite units. As a result, Ukraine prioritizes defense, holding the line, avoiding catastrophic losses. This is a rational choice, but every choice carries consequences. The consequence is clear. The initiative remains with Russia. Russia selects the sector. Russia decides when pressure increases. Russia forces Ukraine to react. At the tactical level, this reflects Russian superiority in the current phase of the war. Not final victory, but a stronger position. This war is moving slowly, but its pattern is consistent. As long as Russia maintains pressure, locks down captured territory, and keeps the drone artillery system functioning, the overall direction of the conflict is unlikely to shift dramatically. This is not a fast war. It is a war of time. And so far, Russia has shown that it is prepared to fight this kind of war longer and with greater discipline. At this point, one thing becomes clear. This war is not over, and it will not end soon. What we see today is neither rapid victory nor instant defeat. What we see is a pattern: repeated pressure, territory locked down, and initiative maintained. Russia does not move fast, but it moves with direction. It does not seek shock, it seeks endurance. In a war of attrition, this is a strength often underestimated. But analysis does not mean justification. Explanation does not mean endorsement. This video is not made to glorify war, not to dismiss suffering, and not to oversimplify a brutal and complex conflict. Its purpose is one thing: to encourage clearer thinking, to view the war not only through emotion, not only through propaganda, but through patterns, structures, and consequences. If Russia appears stronger today, it is because it is operating within the logic of a long war. If Ukraine holds its ground, it is because it is choosing the least damaging option available. Two sides, two strategies, one conflict slowly consuming time. And as observers, as analysts, as human beings, we carry a responsibility not to accept narratives uncritically, to question, to compare, and to understand. Because behind the maps, behind the drones, and behind the statistics, there is always a human cost. That is why discussions like this matter. Not to decide who to cheer for, but to understand where this war is actually heading. Think, analyze, and look at the larger picture. Because modern wars are not always won by the fastest side. More often, they are won by those who are the most patient and the most consistent.